We would say goodbye to our friends Andre and Yelena, she who would be going back to France.
And we're off to La Palma with skipper Christophe and crewmate Natasha and Dora. So we're going for a night cruise, leaving at the end of the day at 6 o'clock. And beautiful day, wind should be manageable, unlike a couple days ago, and we should have a good time. We shall see, we are in the Canaries, you never know what can happen.
My plan was to leave late in the day and sail through the night. The forecast was good. Beam wind, gusting at 20 knots, 1 to 2 meter waves, as well as a full moon and no cloud cover. At first there was no wind behind the mountains. We took 2 reefs to be on the safe side. Correction, to be in the comfort zone. Andre filmed our departure from the shore, and what you're seeing goes to his credit. I've never seen Galopin and I so grand. Andre, my Swiss brother, thank you. The crew was equally grand. Ex-pro skipper Christophe was so happy to be sailing again. He hardly turned on Otto, the autopilot, and held the helm like a child who holds his favorite toy. And the girls, Dora and Natasha, had more than proven their seaworthiness during our test run a few days earlier. They were rock solid. There could have been just one more thing to make this an even more perfect sail. I believe the dolphins are a sign from nature. They seemed like our private escort leading us on, telling their world below that we were cool and let us glide above safely and swiftly. We'd reached perfection. For me, this was the perfect sail. This was ecstasy, my prize bluefin tuna. Galopin was perfectly tuned, in harmony with this natural oceanic symphony, with bass booms and cymbal crashes, crescendos and arpeggios. He strummed the waves like a Nile Rodgers groove, rolled to the rhythm of the deep blue hues, his sails harvesting the full-blown power of the wind's harmonious melodies. It was more than a perfect sail. It was art.
What do you want to say, Alex?
What is there to say? This is amazing. Wow. That's what there's to say. Wow.
I've since made up for my loss of words. A light show manifested itself, designed by our universe's greatest pyrotechnician, courtesy of Maestro Sol. Before us is the infinite horizon, the line between our planet and the eternal sky. Flat around, believe what you will. Before us is the ultimate truth. moon showed its face behind the mountains of La Gomera and shined its light through the night, giving everything a look of plated silver. We'd done better than expected. 10 hours later, at 4 in the morning, we'd arrive at Tazacorte.
We made it to La Palma in the morning. We were here at 4 this morning, the 4 of us, and we just woke up. It's beautiful, it's warm. Now we're gonna go have coffee. It was a fun sail yesterday. So cool. Dora, you missed the dolphins yesterday.
Yeah.
Last night.
But we arrived really fast. you say 12 hours, yeah? In my phone, clock alarm for
To wake up?
wake up turn, okay.
And then we wake up and we were here.
We parked at the gas pumps and waited to be shown our berth. Galopin would need a good wash, as would we. We were thoroughly salted like Canarian potatoes cooked in seawater. And the girls were no longer cave dwellers.
Je crois que ce serait une meilleure idée.
Ouais.
On n'est plus chez les hippies.
As well, we were in the mood for a good cup of coffee and a cigarette for us old sailors, and smoothies for the fruit eaters.
So this is our berth here in Marina Tazacorte, island of La Palma. Pretty nice, very warm here, no wind. Yeah, it's May Day, first day of May, workers' day off. Oh, there's not much more to say, it's cool. My little dolphin.
Dora's smile was that of a dolphin, and she could easily be a mermaid. Skipper Christoph prepared a celebration meal. Pasta and wine are usually on the menu after sailing, especially when a Frenchman is at the helm. He was filling up for a 3-day trek along the volcano trail, which he'll be undertaking the next day.
Bon appétit!
Bon appetit. Thank you for the food.
We had a surprise in store, Nellie, but then again she's a sailor and a good one. So it's no surprise that she made her way in her little yellow boat with no engine. It took her 2 days to sail what took us 10 hours.
Pas mon nom, je n'existe pas.
Non.
Je suis la désaparecida. Parisienne, je n'existe pas.
Ok, bien.
D'abord, on va te voler une bière. Je laisserai là.
Her friend Raphael was kind enough to tow her the last few miles to her anchorage.
J'ai dit qu'on allait te voler une bière, mais qu'on te laisserait de l'argent. On peut te voler une bière ou pas? Tu vois,
Oui.
They are about to borrow my dinghy and go back to her boat. So I lent them the dinghy and a couple of beers. These two make quite the couple.
Fiesta, fiesta, y música, y de todo. Y las chicas se vienen, ¿eh? Rafael, se vienen las chicas. Escucha un poco de música con Rafael y baila.
Ah.
Buena salsa. Buena salsa, Rafael.
She introduced us to another friend of hers.
Okay, we're going on a ride. Gonna discover part of the island with Pablo. He's a local dude called the Palmero who's gonna show us around.
Pablo has an interesting story. He lives in different squats or abandoned properties. And with his worn vehicle, he brings food to the traveling hippies who pass through the networks of squats. He goes to farm cooperatives and harvests what would end up in the garbage. He used to be a successful construction worker. He drove heavy machinery and trucks, was married with children, owned houses. And then the Spanish economy crashed. The banks and his wife took the houses and left him dry. But now he lives free, with small means and lots of friends to whom he shares his passion for his home island and customs. He took us around the northern part of the island, showed us a secluded beach. I'm not quite sure how one gets down there. And Natasha was eating up cactus fruit, Barbary figs in French. He took us to a small town and to natural pools. We were joined by Pierre, former Parisian and now a hairy hippie living the nomadic alternative lifestyle. Natasha was the only brave one to swim the chilly waters. Pablo had a favorite spot to swim, one that was more private and a little more risky. But Pablo's no naked fool, and Pierre, not a silly hippie. Better wait until another time. We continued on. Pablo had heard of a local Pueblo fiesta. After asking around, he took us down smaller and smaller roads with more and more traffic. He was in a bit of a rush, as he had promised free food if we got to the fiesta in time.
Vous avez peur?
Moi non, j'ai mis ça à Flickr.
We made it.
Se me perdió la cadenita con el grito de Nazareno y tú me regalaste Carmen.
He quickly went to where the meal was being served. The food is free at all these fiestas, financed by the beverages generously consumed. Served was a Canarian specialty, lamb stew. I took great pleasure in morally forcing the vegetarians to try it. They scoffed at first, but I told them it would be very impolite to refuse Pablo after all he'd done for us. They found the stew and meat deliciously tender. We took on the dance floor and did as best as we can. Natasha got better and better, following along with the locals. Pierre did a pretty good hippie dance and was warming up to Dora. Each time I approached them, he jumped back as if I was her dad or something, and told them to relax and enjoy themselves. Before we drank too much, which was Pablo's smart decision, we headed off to take Dora to her new destination up in the cool mountains. We brought her to a rainbow community where she would stay a few days before going back to Poland. And later, me and Natasha will enjoy some of the bare pleasures of La Palma Island, La Isla Bonita.